their hold music is loud. Hold music is loud. Yeah, I'm on hold with it.
I think Clayton gave that man why that thing, because I don't have
Yeah. We got the approval from Michael. I just need to get it done. I don't think it does it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And the price list cheaper than Norwalk. So.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. You might want
Do
to
it. Just do it. Just do it. Hey, Charles. Chuck. Sorry, guys. What? Is that Mike? No, you're Mike.
What's that?
I'm full, guys.
Thanks for the invite.
No, by the way,
You come visit us.
that's messed up. Don't call me out like that. That's Omar's
Hey,
job
that's
to
a
rile.
whole move.
That's his job to rile you.
That's like me going visiting. That's like me visiting you at your house. Inviting everybody to go eat.
That's his job to rile up the back. I had the front. Omar, you got me in trouble, man.
What's the word? That wasn't good.
You're supposed to invite everybody.
All right. So, refresh my memory on what we got at.
All right, so-
Concrete plant.
It's in Magnolia, Texas. I've been working with this guy for like last October is when he got back and forth with me. But essentially, the whole COVID thing kind of messed up the process. But cement plants are going up like crazy. They're building like 3, 4, but they want to put solar on this property along with the cement plant. They have like
Ground mount?
yeah, because it's right now it's just like 60, 70 acres, 60 to 90 acres, just pure open space. And so when we had a conversation, he wanted to do a solar farm at first, and I told him, all right, let's first get you set up with what you need for your space. And what I will do is I'll show you how we can potentially do PPAs and things down the line and sell parcels off. But that's down the line. What I did was I separated his expectations. So right now, anywhere from 2 to 400 kW is probably what we have to come up with once we do all the analysis. I guesstimated like 300 to 400 panels with anywhere from 40 to 80 kilowatt in battery will allow him to self-sufficiently maintain majority of his stuff, but this local kind of tells us we need more batteries. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But Center Point, in order for them to even, so right now he wants to start digging. They're putting in water pumps and all this stuff, so they get their blueprints ready for the actual cement blueprint. But Center Point is not giving them power lines until we give load analysis. And the main reason we're stalling is because they will come and do a power line, but if we have if we're trying to future-proof this to expand and for solar, we want to get the biggest transformer possible. So if we give them this load, they know they'll give us like an 800 transformer instead of a 600. Something crazy.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So is this all of the equipment that's going on?
This is pretty much what they call them. I believe I'm starting to get into this whole concrete business and try to become an expert. Every project makes you like an expert, eventually an expert. What I've learned is that this is like a set package for cement plant, like mixing plant. So depending on which stage of the cement is, this is the batch package that you put together when you want to deploy a plant of some sort. So this is the loads that they have to back by. Everything else are non-critical stuff that we can figure out on MacGyver. These are the ones that we need to make sure before we put power lines or phases into the place in general.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Are they going to have any other kind of facility there? Like,
Yeah, I actually have the site survey. Like I've done drone shots, everything. I've been there like 4 or 5 times.
you want to hook onto the big monitor?
Sure.
That one's not too long, but.
Where's that?
Oh, right here. Yeah, it's just right. Y'all want to go into the conference room or something to sit?
Yeah, let's make it in there. Omar, next time you better invite everybody.
Where'd y'all go?
Yeah, Ethiopia restaurant. Nap is due for a meal after a meal like that. God. How's your guys' week going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Lots of stuff going on.
Hey, there's one of the things I love about working here is it's usually just good growing pains.
Yeah.
It's not things I would wish not to have, you know.
We had a little bit of negativity this week, but nothing I can't handle.
Just to balance life out, just to give you a taste that life is real, you know.
Always look like Rain Man.
It's me. It's me. I'm trying to figure out the hot tub time machine. If we can just get 50 sales, then we'll be able to break time continuing. Okay. Let me pull up the. All right. If you guys see anything crazy, full disclosure, I'm not responsible for their eyes burning. I did this in Magnolia, October of 2020. Let's go back, September, October. Oh, that's when I was doing the STEM training.
Is that the new Tesla
Yeah,
ATV?
I'm trying to get Mike to trade me his try for my duel that I reserved.
I would drive it.
You would? I mean, you guys are gonna have a few. You know you're gonna be driving it. Okay, let's see here. This is dangerous. You guys are in my.
Yeah, you're
My-
braver than me. I wouldn't put my personal stuff up there.
You know what it is? We're all going down together. What it is? Full disclosure. What's up? I'm trying to say. Oh no. More of the shit that's on that whiteboard. All right. So actually I can do it by city. So what I do like about saving everything on cloud. Go to explore. You guys see Magnolia already? You all. Is this in oh there it is Magnolia. Oh wow, where are all this stuff?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. All right, so this is the land, but let me pull up. Sorry guys.
So Magnolia, that's pretty far away, then.
Yeah, that's a Houston. That's Center Point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Houston. So I mean, the goal. So essentially, the goal is we're going to own the project, but we can pretty much figure out what we want to manage in house and what we need to figure out to do with the outsourcing. Like for example, with Center Point, they said if there's anything that we can do and invoice it for, they'll allow us to do some of the work on the back end because COVID like took up a lot of their front end people, and so like the power lines were. They've been talking to them since October, and when I got to conversation with them in March, and I've made more moves between there and now than they've done throughout the whole conversation because of the COVID thing. So they've been miscommunicating like crazy. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. One more place I got this stuff. What's that?
Oh, I'm taking this super fast.
Yeah. I'll have this ready for you. I'll grab my phone too because that WhatsApp needs me to approve it.
There's no point in the time to say like you said, mix of things, minimum 5 lines.
How long you been with the GFE here? When did you start over here?
Since November. Now we're going on 10 months now, 9 or 11, almost a year. I've been an electrician for 21 years.
Oh wow,
Finally got my master's.
you're an OG. You're an OG, man.
I'm a builder though. You hand me the prints, I'll go build it. I don't know jack shit about this part. I'm still learning.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I think we all are. I mean, this is an
Yeah.
industry that everybody's kind of jumped into in the last few years.
Yeah. But these guys have been awesome. They've taught me a lot.
Yeah, not Savano.
Yeah. I would have shared months ago if it wasn't for Savon.
I go home, so I leave work to go to work because my wife is in the service department now.
Yeah.
So she's constantly asking me all these questions. Well, what if this solar edge inverter does this, and what do I do? What do I tell them? So, and when I'm explaining shit to her, like I stand back, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like I don't even remember taking in and retaining this knowledge
Yeah.
to be able to dish it back.
She's the one that set up that service call at Auto Show with me.
Yeah.
And I told my wife that we got the OSHA citation, and she immediately snatched it out of my hand and started typing up all the legal documents for the
Man.
policy and shit. You need to wait until I bring that in and show it to Michael and Mo. Dude, she is, yeah, it's legal and everything. She's
Oh.
covering all the bases.
That's all.
Almost there, guys. The pictures will answer all the questions you guys have. Because I know all the shit that I used to get in trouble for, of not having info about whenever we did projects. So I always notated that and had that every time next time. Is it not showing? Oh, I gotta share it. Okay, almost there. December. Damn, time is flying, man. Holy
It is.
shit. What the
Hey, Stan.
Okay, I'll call him.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to them. So you see this. So you see this one array positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to me about you can check voltage between, for example, positive and ground. Positive 1, V and ground. Negative 1, 2, 3 and ground. And it's like, okay, I'm checking it. It started from basically started from 25 and drop it down to 6 volts. 6 volts. Yeah. And they say it's supposed to be 0 or very close to 0.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not like
Oh, actually,
8, 6 and a
you ever
half.
seen these before?
Ground faults.
Okay.
You
I
seen
don't
these
know
before?
how we
Whistle
replace
clean.
this or who's supposed to pay for this.
Did they put a design on the solar panel?
Solar skin,
Solar skin.
fully printable. So I can. I did this for a Dallas Cowboy fan. We printed the star on there. But you can do anything. So it has about anywhere from 7 to 12, anywhere from 5 to 12% efficiency loss. Obviously.
So,
But
was
worth
it
it
all three of
by
those circuits
oversizing your
that,
panel
that drop down
production.
to
So
6
if I want
volts, or is it just
to get a
circuit?
360 out of my panel,
All
I'll get a 400. Put these on, I still produce like 380.
That's
But
pretty cool.
advertisement
I'm taking all those
from GPS locations, these can be seen as advertisements. That's new space that nobody's into.
That's genius.
Waze sells advertisement spots on their GPS.
Hmm.
It's virtual billboards.
Mhm.
I
Google, when
wonder
you
if
go on
there's, are
Google,
there any
you see majority
optimizers
of
up on
those.
that roof, I guess?
That's advertisement real estate that has not been tapped into yet. So I'm working on like using this as part of our
It's
pitch.
just
So I have a bunch of like
panel,
crazy
panel, huh?
shit I do all the time. So it's good and bad, but
Hmm.
it's a net positive for good faith.
That's awesome.
I'm
That is
an
awesome.
experiment.
That is a genius idea.
I have a case number.
But I had this actually helps. Let me show you how cool they are. Look at this.
Right.
looks like bricks.
Wouldn't even know there.
You know. Those are some fucking Q cells, bro.
And how much does it cost to do one?
I did a 52
Also,
panel.
maybe see if you can.
For about
Joe's
$3,000,
here
but I
in
think
the
it's-
office.
I
Maybe
think
you can
it's-
see if Joe can get on
It's
the
overpriced
the
because
phone
they're
with
engineering it
Veronica
as
to
a
see,
thing.
see
If you white
there's an
label the
RMA
process, and that's what I'm
or-
figuring
or
out is
if
their
we can
process in general. So
kind
we
of
can kind of do
narrow down
bulk movement
more
with them.
why
maybe
we're getting
$1,500,
ground fault on all
$2,000
three circuits.
in terms of pricing for, like, let's say on the average 30 panel system.
Yeah.
If I can get somebody that like I've converted a lot of people that
And
talk
this,
about solar
this is
roofs.
only
They can't afford
started
solar roofs.
happening
They just
this
they're
week,
not. They don't have.
or
Like,
last Friday, I
we give
guess?
you the best of both worlds.
Yes.
$5,000 more, $40,000 less than a solar roof. You're still aesthetically nice.
And still
Yeah, so it helps a lot. Like, this is what
Um,
this on a regular home. That's a skid.
Yeah,
So you can do it for camouflaging or for advertisement.
That's nice.
Let me see. Home actually looks really nice.
Been working this Friday,
Camouflage.
started getting this
Wow.
error code.
And I bet that would win over a bunch of HOAs too.
Appraisal value. Aesthetics do matter.
That is awesome.
In the ground,
Yeah,
each panel and ground wire.
I
right.
forgot about this one actually.
And if the whole
That
array
produces
is,
electricity.
if it's connected mechanically,
That's awesome.
They were on
like
something.
metal to
Yeah.
metal through the mids,
That's
if
awesome.
if the whole thing is connected
Yeah, once
mechanically,
once a lot of this
then you
crazy
should
shit
just
dies
be
down a
able
little
to
bit, I'm
run
gonna
one
tackle
ground
some of these
number
little.
from the
projects.
array to
Let me find the
the
picture
to the
here.
inverter.
Looks close.
Yeah, I think needs.
Yeah, it's, okay. So then, I mean, that definitely needs a ground from the array down to the inverter.
Okay, so look at this.
I'm
Where is
close,
the
I can
first
feel it.
ground?
Okay, so,
Okay, and here it comes from AC, but they have only one screw for ground.
right.
Okay, here it's positive DC, like all positive.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
nothing really crazy. I'm saying. I'm actually a lot more tame than I used
Actually,
to.
okay.
I'll shoot you straight. I got about 15 minutes.
I got you.
to bounce.
Yep.
This is gonna be pretty quick. I want to forward these to you because regardless, you guys need to have this on file.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, I lost you.
Then lost.
Yeah, I got you now. It does look like that ground needs to be landed there.
Okay. So what you want me to do? Just come back and up, talk to Joe, talk to Fungus again, and try to do something.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to find a ground lug that connects to, are there rails on that system, or is it just basically a deck attachment?
No, really. Just I think frame laid down on the start on the back turning.
Right, I got you.
Yeah. But it's connected and they have needs. So
Right.
I found it.
probably we need just one panel. That's it.
36
Wow.
panels there.
It's going right to the
It
spot.
does sound like we're gonna need one ground lug attached to the frame on a panel and run a ground wire. We can even attach that ground wire to the conduit that's coming down from the array. Attach it on.
It's a flex.
Right. We could even attach that wire to that flex coming down, penetrate into that inverter and land it on that ground screw.
That's all the land right there.
You know it? If you have a regular ground lug that's on your truck, you may try and see if we can get it to fire back up without that error code.
I don't.
Yeah, then we'll have to travel back.
Initially,
with
we
the
were
ground
thinking
lug.
about putting the system right around here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna clear out this area and put the cement plant there because they're still getting this
It's not ahead.
surveyed because
Whatever.
they don't understand how much gas line power
So
is.
what?
So we had to do the whole survey thing where you warn that you're about to do digging and you give all the utilities a chance to come mark their shit. So it took a long time to do that back and forth because it was right during COVID time. And it was just a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
But we got it done. everybody came and marked their stuff. And so at that point, we figured out that
Ground fault
we're.
it maybe affect the panels, maybe affect
So the goal is here is to put like megawatts and megawatts. He's giving me the opportunity to sell
Yeah.
this in acres. I used to do energy, commercial energy and
Hmm.
retail energy
Mhm.
in Texas. And technically, with deregulation, you can make energy here and then sign a agreement about the energy being delivered here, and the utility provider will facilitate everything for you.
Mhm.
And so what we're trying to do here is imagine this being all this money.
Mhm.
You got another thing you can try?
I want to do solar farm ownership. I understand complexity of what it actually means.
Yeah.
So I told him,
Mhm.
let's say the cement farm is going to get the amount of energy, and we go put 300 kW here, we understand the load, we can raise it now. We can sell sections as PPA
Yeah.
agreements. And then once we have a partial of a pre-agreement, we
Yeah.
can install that.
If you were,
It's called power purchase agreement. I can sell
yeah, that's not a
energy
bad idea.
futures and then go ahead and build it on the back end. And
I'll
lower them
Right.
to put up on the front end if we can get the PPAs on the front end purchase. So
Right.
in energy, that's what we do. Right now, I have T-Mobile,
Mhm.
for example, that's in McKinney. There's a T-Mobile in Lifetime, and they have a building in the contract that says they're willing to pay 8 cents a kilowatt hour for the next 10 years guaranteed. Which means now that that building owner is willing to put up money to get energy delivered to them, and it might cost him 3-4 cents. And then he can now profit off of them, and they don't care because they're about to write off the whole thing as renewable energy credits.
Right.
It's a wash, wash, wash,
Mhm.
as long as you line the ducks up. So my job is to line the duck up for this project for him because it makes sense, but then sit around and gather. So once I have like two more places that want to do the same thing where they have it pre-written in their contract, I can say, hey, CenterPoint, I have 3 entities that would like their energy delivered, and they will just make sure that that amount of energy has been put on the grid, and then they go ahead and build them on the back end. We don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
Wow.
And so he's saying I can use all the land to be able to allow us to do all that.
But that's a massive service to prepare for.
Exactly. And that's why we took a long time. Like, that's why I said I will do the transformers with you, because we're going to dive in. I want to do it from the beginning because we have the ability to stop at any section of it and be like, okay, there's no more transformers that can come into this phase, but there's no way we can put. If we can get to 5 megs, 1 meg, it doesn't matter. But because there's 3 other his buddies waiting for him to just get 300 kW, they want their own. But what they don't realize is, and I told him this is why he's excited. I'm like, if you take the leap with me and do this now, you can go ahead and service them because they didn't want to take the leap with you at the time. Because they could have they did a group purchase. So I kind of put them up against each other. I'm like, well, you're taking a leap trying to do this now. Get your solar up, and then we can sell parcels to them because they don't want to take a dip with you and take a risk of financing with you.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah, you do that. He's like, you tell me how many panels you want, sell them, we'll figure it out. And so essentially, once we have them up, his other 2 buddies are like, oh, I want another 300 kW. Well, I'll get you guys signed up for power purchase agreement, and we can go install on his property and get it delivered on the back end. And we make money on the transaction of the PPA. We make money on the engineering, procurement, construction, and then the maintenance will be a company that will be handling the actual PPA. So we can build in a company to do a 20-year OEM on it and not even have to fuck with it. Right? Now the crazy vision is out there. But so this is the land that's there, but ultimately CenterPoint is waiting for me to give them load analysis on the equipment that is going to be powered, and the major appliances are these right there.
Right.
This is the area that it's in. Essentially, they have the service coming in right here, and then the power line's gonna be run over here, and I can show you what that looks like on the map, and what the service looks like. It's brand new. They have, I know we can fit the equipment there. I think the day I took this, I didn't take equipment pictures, but I have the pictures of the equipment. But essentially, they have a 3-phase service right there. And they have like 3 big ass breakers that pretty much have 200-300 kV. What do you call it?
Yeah.
Entry points. And then the power line entry point is about 75 to 150 feet that way. So we were trying to figure out to do a straight line and minimize the amount of power lines that they're investing in. Ultimately, we want to be able to power from here, but our goal is, and he said, this is something that we can move this whole service anywhere we want because it's just the scaffolding there. It's not powering. So we could take that and build that service panel somewhere if we need to get it closer to wherever we're. So our priority is first, and then anything can move around. It's an open playground per se. But I just wanted, so ultimately, right now where we're at is CenterPoint is about to come and put lines down. They just need to know how big our transformers need to be and all that, and that's why we want to do load analysis. Yep.
Well, according to this, it's calling for at least a 250 amp main. Their load is only at 182 amps, but they're calling for a 250 amp main. That's just to cover this equipment. And I don't know.
They have 600 amp over there.
They have 600.
Yeah, I've already covered.
Okay. Yeah. And is this going to be the only? That's my question. Is what's already in that building?
Nothing.
It's just,
that's literally like their like equipment house and stuff like that. That's kind of like that's the building people are gonna live there whenever they're actively, like, let's say, I think sometimes cement happens in batches and shit, right? So that's where people can come and like live while batches are happening and stuff like that. So I've already sized the system. This place needs about a 7 kW system. Mm-hmm. So right now they needed solar so bad. I actually designed an 8 kW system. He was almost gonna give me $30,000 cash last time I was there, and then something happened where he's like, you know what? If we can wait a little bit more, I just want to put this much money towards the system. I told him, like, let's just increase your system instead of putting 252 panels. Let's go 300 panels, make enough energy there, and then just not have to pay the raw cost over here, if that makes sense. So I know that this needs about 7 8 kW, but this will be part of the whole installation once we string it in there. But yeah, so like, ultimately, this power here, most likely the system is probably going to be built somewhere right around here is where, well, he's taking our recommendations, but they were going to clear the trees over here. They decided not to. They're going to have the cement like somewhere over here. So if we can have either right here or right there, that's kind of for us to figure out to minimize the trenching, or so we can bring the service here and have CenterPoint string all the way here. So we can figure out where the stringing stops, and then just bring the entry service, because it's just sitting there waiting to be put in. But I think where the building is, I don't know what you guys think, but we can leave the service entry point here, maybe trench the rest too.
Well, I'm to be 100% honest with you. This is a little bit above my scope. I've never I've built concrete plants before,
I'll tell you this. I'm kind of opening this up just because I know you for a while, and you know how I work in terms of, like, eventually it'll be figured out, and I'm in it for the long haul. But I'm saying more than I should in terms of what we need from this. It's just load analysis to get CenterPoint to string it, right? Because the rest is still moving pieces. These are things I'm figuring out based on financing. We'll figure out what procurement is. If we're procuring it for them, or if we're gonna have them do a down payment. We don't know if it's gonna be the encore payment because it's CenterPoint. So there's a lot of stuff on the back end we're working on. But for now, load analysis to move us forward with them.
So that equipment there, that's the major, that's the bigger, heavier duty stuff. Now this building, you said it's going to need about a 7 kW system to 100%
to just maintain
offset.
itself. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
and is that on top of what's needed to power up all that?
Yeah. Yes, and that was my finesse of, like, if we can add up as much as possible, we can push for a bigger transformer, showing the load now versus trying to retrofit a load, because that's how I get people to give me referrals right now, even for batteries. Is this guy's complaining because he's like, our transformer in the neighborhood is bad. It's like, I'll help you figure it out, and I'll do a custom petition to get everybody else to agitate to go to solar, so that they are forced to change the transformer instead of the Russian roulette of the last person to go solar that pushes it over the edge now has to foot the bill for the whole transformer. It happens a lot with utilities where they don't want to do work on it, and until it's like required, or else this solar can't even go in the neighborhood. At that point, that person has to pay. But you can get around that sometimes, and I use that as like a referral point. Like, hey, let's get a bunch of people to apply for this now. They're gonna have to bring it up, and he's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll be your guinea pig. So, things like that. Okay.
So you mentioned that they might be living in that building at times that they need to stay out and be outside. What are the odds of them bringing in more campers to have more people stay on site?
Highly likely, because that's what they're having to do right now. Is We can't even get service for them up there. I'm literally telling him not to spend money on temporary solutions. Like, he's like, can you give me a battery and generator while we're in? Like, no, let's put all that money towards bringing the lines in, bringing center point through the thing, because these are temporary fixes. So right now they've had times where equipment's been getting messed with. So he's trying to get people to live there as much as possible. And based on my walk-in with him, I did a load analysis of all the appliances. It's about an 8 kW system that they can have. And at that time was when I started using the 10 kW storage battery. And so I knew that we're going to have some type of lithium phosphate in there somewhere. So now I do have a question for you. With this load here, if we wanted to back, not whole backup, but if we wanted to do some type of emergency backup for this area, what type of backup solution would we have if money wasn't the issue?
Would Teslas handle that?
Yeah, the mega pack.
Well, yeah.
We can make our own.
You gotta pay about 900 fucking Cybertrucks to get that.
So I'll tell you this right now. So I went down that rabbit hole a little bit. It's 130 grand for the mega pack, which is equivalent to 232 kW Powerwall. And I've already actually got it sized, engineered, and microgrid through Homer and Energy Toolbase to allow us to like put it in a neighborhood if 50 people want to go solar, to allow them to get one neighborhood shared microgrid Powerwall where they can arbitrage together. So that's a whole. Let's not talk about this one because I'm already confused. But yes,
that's what this is going to entail. I mean, it's going to have something massive to maintain that big equipment.
So do you think like this, like if we threw the stores like 500 kW max that it can be installed right now in packs, do you think something like that is like feasible? Like it's doable? We can figure out the rest.
Like as an install, from an install standpoint?
Yeah, that's all I care about. Like the analysis and whatever, I know we can figure out on the front end first. But in terms of like if this load is able to be backed up by a certain amount of storage batteries and a certain amount of solar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's definitely doable. Hell, yeah, it definitely is. But then you got to consider it's not just the storage batteries. You got to consider the solar converters. How many is going to take? I mean, so on and so forth. But it's definitely doable.
And the reason why, I'll tell you why I'm a fan of the SolarC or the storage of SolarC is a lot of times with people, one of the issues we're having is two things. Powerwalls are sold out. So you have a bunch of bad expectations from people about batteries. And then we're not here to babysit people's time until their right battery gets here, whatever. So one of the things that helped me a lot is somebody's like, okay, I don't know if they want to back up any load that's like AC, we know we're going to need to remove two Powerwalls, right? So instead, what I sometimes do is I'll give them a 10 kW stores, but I will order the 20 kW cabinet, and they can just go ahead and retrofit later.
Yeah.
That way I can always bring them in with a lower ticket than what they expected all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also if they see that 20 kW, the cabinet,
it just makes it look like it's.
I've got more space.
What is it? Range anxiety. Their battery anxiety goes away because they think they got. Yeah, I got you. I never thought of it like that. But yeah, so that's kind of the generalized goal. But the goal is to just run a cement plant that has a bunch of energy, and we'll figure it out.
Right.
My conversation with you guys is like I want to make sure that like I understand my parameters. And what my outer bounds is to make sure I'm not going where we know we can't go. So if I know our bandwidth, I can keep us within that.
If you're talking about our bandwidth is infinite.
I know. Well, what I'm trying to say, like, so based on my relationship, people know that I can test that pretty well. Trust me, I can get. But the thing is, it's doable. So a lot of this stuff is like it allows us to really be arrogant about why I get fitted that 5-star, why we charge you this. Like I never sell on price, and that's the one advantage I have is I sell on solution based. So I'm willing to get my hands dirty, but I'm willing to ask for that money for it. So we'll fix it or we'll pay for it, or pay for whoever needs to get it done. But we don't do cheap work or promise things that we're willing to do just because we're trying to beat somebody's price. I don't like selling like that. I like to bring some shit. I like to do some shit that hasn't been done yet, and then figure out how much more we can charge them to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's the goal here. So I have a call with Centerpoint guy next week. I think sometime next week on Monday. But if we could just get a load. Ultimately, the goal is just to get a load analysis that allows us to get a transformer that's big enough.
Right, and that's 3-phase out there, you said?
It's definitely 3-phase, yeah. I seen at least 600 kVA worth of entry points over there. Actually, no, this could be 3, 6, could be 9. There's 3 big ass industrial sized breakers.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And they say, I have a picture of them, but it's like, what does they say? 320 kVA.
Yeah.
Little,
Yeah.
and there's 6 of them inside. Yeah, they're prepared for it for sure. I mean, they know what they're about to put there. So I think in terms of entry point and like thinking about it in a retrofit standpoint, they're already planning and building around the energy that needs to be moving around. So
You're talking about the cement people, right?
yes, the cement people. So it's not like we have to figure out that for them too also.
We
So
just
like,
need to
we just need to meet them wherever the
off.
fuck they are and make sure that our equipment can handle wherever the fuck.
Right.
So, it's open enough where we can make sure that we're at the drawing table the way we want to do it instead of having to figure out around them. So it's very custom. And I can pretty much get anything approved if we need to get it done. So like I want to go out of the way to make sure that it says least resistance for ourselves. Like if you think like, oh, do this way so I can have 4 people on this project instead of 7, like we can do things like that pretty easily.
Right.
So do you guys think like an 800 how do they size the transformers, by the way?
That
I've heard like 400, 600, 800, 1200.
yeah, I'm not entirely well versed on that, but as far because that's
I've installed 1200 amp services. I've seen 6000 amp services. It pretty much, you just figure out what you need and go one step higher.
So you say you've seen 300, you've seen 600.
Oh yeah.
So I know that their entry points, I have 600 capabilities. I know that. I just don't know how to explain it, but I know that 600 capabilities are there. It's like
So what's existing can handle 600 amps?
oh, guaranteed. I have the pictures. Like I said, I don't want to waste time trying to go
Right.
through them. I remember specifically that there's up to 600 because we went there with somebody that was going to help us put a trench for the power lines because Centerport was taking so long. At some point, we were almost there, and then like, oh shit, we just lost 26 people to COVID, right? So it was back to the drawing board. I'm like, hey, can we trench for you and put the poles in? Y'all can just come string. It's like, yeah. And so I'm like, all right, we'll invoice them for this shit. So I brought somebody out there, like, oh, 600 kVA, we're good enough to be able to entry point here. So I know that for a fact.
Well, the 600 amps that they got on site is enough to power their little building, their concrete plant, and any RVs they want to plug up or bring in. They'll have room to grow.
now it's just convincing Centerpoint to
Yeah.
install it.
Which is that's my job. My job is to do that. I just want to know what I have to work with so I can tell them like, hey, they're about to, so for example, the way I'm going to do it is, okay, you tell me that we need this type of transformer or this type of load, and this is what we need backed up. I'm going to go to negotiate for double that capacity because I'm like, hey, we're going to put two plants up there. Cement is flying off the shelves. We can't handle that.
Right.
That's what's happening. Like cement is so sought after. Like they're going around building cement plants like crazy. They want them yesterday, and they can't.
Because all the construction.
Yeah, and they're Hispanic, so they there's a huge shortage in Mexico. Like they say they can't have enough cement. Some shit, I don't know.
Because
That's good enough for I think. But yeah, whatever we come up with, I'll just take that. That's good enough for me to move for the next few months.
Right.
For the next 2-3 months, this right here will unclog my.
Well, I mean,
So then we'll figure out.
I feel like we didn't give you the answer.
Huh?
I feel like I didn't give you an answer.
No, but you gave me the peace of mind that we can get the answer. That's
Right.
all I care about.
Oh, yeah.
We have the capabilities to get the answer.
Absolutely.
And then I know the bandwidth and the conversation I have with Centerpoint on it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my God. Let's get it. Okay. Did I miss anything? Anything juicy? No? Damn, it's just boring. You tell me it's just boring when I'm not around here. You telling me I'm the life of the party? Yeah, it's a beautiful day today. I have to hit the pool. The pool time. Sherry, David's about to be a huge huge client.
Who?
David. All I'm saying is, I think it's gonna be worth getting kidnapped or whatever I'm getting myself into. I'm like, I'm liking it.
What's going on?
He was just he had a huge concern about like
You need usage?
trying to figure out the battery. He really needed his handheld. Like he's like, I just not want somebody to like roll me through. Like he needed really to be reassured. And so once I did that in my head, I'm like, all right, it's gonna take a long time. I want to make sure this is gonna be worth it. So I pushed towards squeezing out referrals, and he gave me the perfect opportunity.
Maybe what?
Referrals.
Okay.
His whole neighborhood is gonna be a referral badge for me, and this is why. He told me his the transformer in the neighborhood is bad. And so usually in the neighborhood you have one transformer, most neighbors are sharing. A lot of times the person that ends up pushing that transformer to the brink of its performance is the person that pays for the upgrade. So the first person to go solar is usually the least likely to have to pay for that upgrade. The last person to go solar in the neighborhood is. So I'm telling him, hey, if you guys are already having this issue, let's get a bunch of you guys ready to submit for a solar project.
So did you get his address?
Oh yes, address.
Did you pull up the neighborhood? How many homes already have solar?
Not yet. No, 2 or 3. He said he was the first one in the neighborhood though, 3 years ago. And there's about 3 of them now.
You have the address?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, that's like taking pizza orders.
Can you please let me know?
You know.
Oh, I've done this before.
Oh, because see, here's the
I did
thing.
3 last year.
We could put together like a slideshow and we could go and have a little meeting.
Last
with
year I
them.
did this
I could
with
sit there and do everything into HubSpot.
Carrollton and
And we'll
Carrollton
split it 50-50.
all day. Last year I did this in Carrollton with a Cambodian family in Lake Louisville. 3 people to 17 installs. I just convinced 3 people. The rest they just refer. 17 installs, and from May till July, all I was doing is just go in there and just take orders. 17 people last year. And then I got lazy.
So give me the address.
All right. Un momento.
Un momento, por
Por favor.
Barbara's getting a good deal whatever you're paying.
And I need help.
He's asking a question.
Here, I got all of
Um,
them. His name is David Norman.
David Norman. I actually have to send his email too.
Hold on.
Let's double check to make sure that I have him on the calendar for tomorrow 1 p.m. and that I've also sent him the email, which I haven't, so I need to do that both.
They sent you a renovation plan which included a new roof on the
What
back.
city is he?
David
Grand
Norman.
Prairie.
It's Grand Prairie?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Oh, same day permits. Oh, Grand Prairie has same day permits. That will reduce our install time by at least 2 weeks automatically. So if we can do 4, we can do 2 over there, as long as we have the install crew. They get it.
Where you show the old flat roof and a new roof.
Hey, Ripple contract. Oh my God.
So what's he saying?
He's saying that this has been changed.
Okay.
But we need to know.
It's not in the.
How about you, Robert Horby?
If it's flat. But if it's recent, then the road didn't get captured.
Yeah, but he sent the plans in.
We did?
Yeah.
First thing I'll do is check under his name and see if HubSpot pulled. If you check under his name, HubSpot should be pulling PDFs or any email sent by that person and attaching it to their name. Like I found utility bills before that I didn't even know were sent because it attaches it because HubSpot is crawling into emails.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell if it's from Jean Marie, or do we just pull it? So she did it already. We sent her the wrong thing.
Oh God.
Okay, so it looks like,
So we were sending her the phone. Did you put gutters in there?
Zoom out real quick.
It's a nice little neighborhood.
Oh my God, that whole neighborhood.
But the problem is that there's not as many solar families as you think.
That's perfect. I love you. Then you get more people
Right.
to tackle.
So, right, so we got one.
So my first order of business is to talk to as many of the ones that already have solar,
So we got 1, 2.
and then leverage them to use the dynamic conversation. And then I'm gonna see if they have a neighborhood next door app, and then have them all aggregate their thing. But first, and this is why, by the way, this is how I get people really sold, because
He's got an old system.
yeah, it's a solar city system, I can tell.
Yeah,
So he's so sold on this next venture
yeah.
that the battery's just like,
I got a question when you
he's
get
sold. He's like, all right, let's get this out of the way, and then let's get our transformer going. I have him on a mission now.
Right, but yeah, you've got, there's like a handful of them, I would say probably just going through here and everything, and there's just this little realm, right, what you can see on my
Let's just
screen.
say if we can get 5 to
12.
at the same time as on solar.
Yeah, so what would probably be a good idea
Google
is,
Project Sunroof.
Give
Or
it
the
to,
Google, I'm sorry, Google Sunroof. Google Project Sunroof. And you see their
I figured,
business.
yeah, just give it to
So
Sharon.
take it,
She's up.
copy and paste one of the addresses.
Basic rotation.
Okay, so.
What do you mean?
She's really the answer from the city.
you
I
drive,
figured as much, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
panels, they don't look like the skirting that we typically do that was installed by Tesla. Let me bring up the pictures.
Yeah, you can show them.
They wanted an EV charger as well.
Mhm.
That's when I was there, but they already have a bid coming from Tesla. That's just what I could grab. One more to the.
Oh, yeah, they have the skirting, you're saying?
Yeah, that was skirting, so I wasn't sure if we could
Shows you all the ratings.
remove the skirting, add to it, and then add new skirting.
Did they say why they're
Just
adding
not
to it?
the homes that has
Because
the
they're not
most.
100%. That is not their entire array. They have the south side that's not very big, but it's not being utilized. I can bring up the address and show you. They have it on Google Maps.
First, I'll go to neighborhoods.
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
first
yeah.
thing I do is I
That's
knock with homes where the south facing roof is at.
They're just adding
Right.
panels to
That's gonna-
our roof.
it's gonna bring it down.
Yeah.
And certain area that used to have a tree that they didn't put on their roof.
Yeah.
Now the trees are on there.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna talk to them. I can't talk to them. I'll talk to everybody that's alleyways facing south.
Good, yeah, you
Right.
just.
To where
Because once we get to the
that
design
same
phase, we're gonna-
roof line that I was just showing you is this.
I think what we're gonna do is,
Barely
let me
see
see,
the
that's the street, right?
Like when you live on Maury right there. Other than
That's street, that's alley.
Two
Text me around here.
tire walls.
This is street, that's alley, so alley, alley.
Make notes though, make sure she takes notes that,
this right
that
here is
there's
your
a
house.
Tesla
These are
likely going to
right?
be 340 on lot.
And that's not a house.
On that side.
I've knocked these homes,
So I want to make sure we
this
can match
cul-de-sac,
that.
and then this cul-de-sac,
I don't know
and
if
then
Tesla
this
had a,
cul-de-sac.
I don't know what penalties before that.
And to be honest with you, we're gonna actually ignore it because we are actually doing something which is like, we
Okay, so
don't
back
want.
up just a little bit. So hold on, back up just a
Build,
little bit.
they built the house, they put panels on, and then they.
Say
What
this,
is
I use
this
it.
up here? What is this?
It's a building, a big ass building on a bunch of sun.
I know that, so this is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
probably
Okay,
340.
so you have all
They
these.
wanted
homes.
just one firewall,
Think
that's
about
the
it.
total that they put just
Instead of
one firewall,
having
they had to buy
Oh,
solar.
it's school. Okay.
So.
You thought you were gonna put it on one big ass building to ship?
So
That's my goal. by
Like
the way.
do a meeting.
So if we need this enough for them, instead of them all spending like 20, 30 grand for a firewall, we can get power plants, 232K. For the storage, 500K storage. And maybe a group purchase one equivalent to that. They'll be spending equivalent of getting like 2-3 firewalls each. They'll only spend like 15 grand.
So what, you just buy it all in bulk and
Bulk,
then just
that way-
divvy it up?
And that way you're building, you're installing a microgrid where, and that encourages people to sign up at the same time. It's like, okay, 10 of you guys sign up, 10 of you guys get the battery, which means that we'll install it in a centralized national area. And that means that it's dumping energy back and forth between you and actually making it more efficient. It's a microgrid.
Oh, got it, Okay.
They share the battery,
Well, the
and
only
they all
thing,
get installed.
well, where do you put that?
Exactly. You can put it at a central location. So there's two ways to do it. One way I would do it is this. One way to do it is figure out how to right here, for example. Figure out where the transformer is. That's the first thing I would do most of the time. Transformer is probably by the nearest bigger building, most likely to be commercial. So
Not if that's a school.
most likely this is going to be where the biggest entry point for energy is into somewhere here. This is the one that's going to be most intense. And ultimately, what I'm saying is, if there's going to be an entry point that allows us to push energy, as much energy back and forth as possible, the power lines that have that transformer size are going to be somewhere in this vicinity, because the schools will need it the most in any of those. For example, I do that like when I get in the neighborhood, I go look for fire stations. Fire stations always have the best power lines put together. They give them the biggest power transformers so that they never go out of power. They give them the best, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that tells me like where the safest place of entry point is. It's usually fire stations or hospitals, fire station hospitals. During the blackout, all my buddies that lived by fire station powerhouse, that's where I was going every time for a week or two when my neighborhood was going out of power, because
Right.
I knew their houses always had power. No matter what. We never lost it. Even in the rolling blackout, they never lost it. They never worked on the rolling blackout. Blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, that's a good point though. So if we can,
It's a flame.
house. It's a house we never
No,
dated.
no.
I'm swear. This one, this one. We don't even have to go down this road. Hey, lady, we're already here. You have to go around. You don't get any color. What's going on?
It's right here. This is where it's at.
So what was that all about?
Maybe a plane crash there.
Oh my God.
Hey, Louisiana solar.
That's Grand Prairie. That is very highly
Yeah, he has a
plausible.
question. He's got sleep boots on now. He's taking
I
off.
think there was one time the satellite took a picture when the plane was there, and all of a sudden they built over that picture.
Yeah.
Takes them off.
Conspiracy theory, you say?
Well, it depends on how.
Can you
how
take a screenshot?
okay.
You know why? You know why it's interesting?
Why?
Another thing to talk to the neighborhood about, other than solar, during my conversation. I like to come to the neighborhood with neighborhood knowledge. So what's up with the plane over there? You know,
I have to look at the build plans.
wow, that's interesting. Yeah, Grand Prairie, they have their.
Hey, click on the top one. If you like, you know, click on that one.
This one?
No. Well,
Oh, you mean let's see the roof structure.
we can figure it out later. If you just want to say yes, we can give it credit. We'll just, you know, give it some kind of discount. Makes sense for us. No, he's saying he took it off.
So here's another thing too. So let's do this.
Well, what I'm saying though is that would be moot because they would be taking it off. We wouldn't know what the cost was. So and we haven't quoted any yet for taking this roof off. I know. Sure.
Can we not back this up anymore? This is. Hey, look at this. We found a plane.
Shit's crazy, right? Still trying to figure that out.
Look at
No,
this.
I think we're on the same.
So we're
page.
pulling this up
We'll just quote them for a regular.
and we're looking at this neighborhood and then all of a sudden we see this. And when we go to the satellite imaging, the plane's not there. But the neighborhood's only been there for about maybe 2 or 3
And
years.
basically
I'm
what
like,
we
what
would
if I
say
did
is
crash
this
there?
week,
Like,
we wouldn't.
years
reduce the
ago,
price by that
and
amount, but we would
if
say
these
this
are like
is what we do.
satellite images stacked on top of each other.
Or it just so happened to capture it flying. That'd be my guess.
Oh, that's, yeah, that could be, but why is the house on top of it?
It'll be definitely.
Because they did the graphic on top of it after the satellite imagery was there, they just seen it as a 2D plane and then, surveyors still plotted that in the GPS, like the corners of the houses and everything.
Oh, got it.
So it was still plotted there, but that was just a 2D image and they just planted it in the algorithm. So yeah, that's crazy to catch a plane in midair over a neighborhood like that. I wouldn't think it was a.
Yeah, it's a 10,000 square foot home.
I don't know, it's like, I remember when I was a teenager, and I remember, driving down 635, and seeing this big plume of smoke going up.
Do you know what it actually is?
And it was when everybody was in the trash on I-14 and took out, we were having
3,850
smoke.
square foot.
And this was before Doppler radar and all that other kind of stuff, and shear and everything. And I usually remember, because I mean, I was out like a 635.
Okay, good. I would not come back here for at least a month after a kid.
And I remember Greenville Avenue being a two-lane road and going through the house park area. Now it's like a whole big bridge over there, but whenever if it rained, that whole thing was underwater. They'd shut it down. And, but yeah, that was like over near Presbyterian Hospital, on the north side of Greenville.
Mm.
My family worked growing up as kids, so my aunt was the chief nurse at Presby. And I had a cousin from the other side of the family, but that person also was under her.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, my mother paid for the museum there because I was at accident farming when I was a kid. And, but yeah,
What's up, G? Here, bottle real quick.
Roman juicy fruit. Okay. Uh-uh. Amanda, would you be too terribly upset if I got out of here early today?
I think I would probably cry.
I just have to run to work first, and today's the first day since last Friday, but the weather's actually decent and the traffic doesn't look all jacked up.
Right, I don't blame you. I'm not crying. At least you asked.
Everybody else's days.
I know, right?
Is it just me, or does this week seem like it's been off all week? Like it's just been a little weird.
It totally has, because I think there's so many people gone.
It just, usually the weeks just blaze,
Yeah.
and then it's like this week, it's just, it's just dread.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I gotta start taking people's signatures now. Rose said she bought a thermometer, because we don't think that that one's accurate at all.
Wow. See you tomorrow.
What time is it?
Okay, are you interested in solar panels or the solar roof? Okay. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll take the information down and put it into my system, and then assign to a specialist, and one of them will be in contact with you. Is that okay? It would probably, you probably won't hear from them until tomorrow because everyone is on today. Okay, let's. That would be up to them. I don't know what their schedule's like. So once I get it assigned, they'll give you a call and you can kind of tell them if that's what you're looking for and they can let you know. All right. Let me start by getting your email address. Okay, what's your first name? Okay, and your last name? And then let's get one number for you.
Oh, let's go, man. Damn.
Span really does fill that circle of control that's missing from the battery systems. Relation. And some circuits span rooms. Since you can add circuits to multiple rooms, it creates a very intuitive view to quickly track the whole of your home, and you'll see which circuits are using the most electricity at that moment, and a projection for how much backup time you have in your battery. One screen that surprised me how much I liked it was the circuit screen. You can group circuits by room, which I had no idea how much I wanted and kind of needed something like that. The labeling on your electric panel can be cryptic at best, and some circuits span rooms. And since you could add circuits to multiple rooms, it creates a very intuitive view to quickly track down which circuit you need to turn off if you have to do some work. No more trudging down to the panel to switch off the circuit to walk back up to the room where you were, just to discover it was the wrong circuit. Within a few seconds, you can confirm which circuit it is and get to work. Now, it's definitely not recommended to use just the software switch before doing electrical work. After confirming the circuit, you really should go to the panel and use the manual switch. And finally, the SPAN app has a feed of insights based on your usage and data, like highlighting circuits that had high energy usage for the previous week, how much solar you generated, and how much of your use it covered. It even calls out specific circuits that were 100% solar power, like my dishwasher just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
It's these kinds of notifications and insights that can help you understand how to shift your electricity usage to maximize your solar power and costs, especially if you live in an area with time of use rates. So is the SPAN panel worth it? Before I get to that, I'd like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. They've built an incredible online learning community with thousands of classes for creators. When it comes down to it, we're all creators. They've got classes for everything from writing to graphic design, to web development, to entrepreneurship and leadership. Now, I've been on a major productivity kick, working smarter, not harder, and they've got some amazing productivity classes as well. I've got another recommendation from Thomas Frank. Really loving his videos at Skillshare. His productivity masterclass, Create a Custom System That Works. It's all about getting ideas out of your head and into a system that you trust. I've always struggled with tossing things into a digital wasteland, never to be seen from again. This has been helping me with that. Now, everything on Skillshare is curated for learning, so there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes. There's really something for everyone on Skillshare to continue learning and growing. There's nothing better than being able to do something today that you couldn't do yesterday. The first 1,000 people to use this link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thanks to Skillshare and to all of you for supporting the channel. So back to if the Span Smart Panel is worth it. Given its cost, which is about $3,500, the Span panel is not for everyone. That's really the biggest con of the system. And if you don't have solar panels or a battery and you're not planning on upgrading your home's electricity capacity, then the answer is no. This is not for you. The cost benefit doesn't work out in that case with parts and labor. However, if you're getting solar panels and a battery system, you're going to be doing a lot of electrical and panel work anyway. So I think the answer is a big yes if you combine it with that install. When I was getting quotes for my Tesla Powerwall installs, some of which included installing a critical loads panel, the extra costs of that critical loads panel were more than the Span Smart Panel costs. In that use case, it's kind of a no-brainer to go with the flexibility and the smarts of Span versus hardwiring a solution that requires an electrician and extra money to change down the road, and it can't help you streamline your energy use. It's a pretty simple equation, especially when you consider that Span can also help you get more use out of fewer batteries. The real-time controls and smarts around battery management means you can install 1 or 2 batteries instead of 3 or 4. I consider that batteries like this typically run between $7,000 and $10,000 each. That can help reduce the overall cost of your battery installation for your home. Span really does fill that circuit level control that's missing from all battery systems. And while you should only buy a product for what it can do for you today, I'm pretty excited about the potential of the Span system. They did tell me about a few software updates in the works that sound pretty cool, like an early warning system so that if it detects anomalies, they'll let you know. It's a really nice safety add-on. Another feature that they're adding is being able to schedule circuits. So if you have circuits that are just light fixtures, you can get scheduled smart controls out of the box. It's also great for time of use rates since you can better control and shift when you're using specific circuits and over time. And that's just a couple of the coming updates. And speaking of smart homes, right now the system integrates with Amazon Alexa, but I'm hopeful it'll open up more widely to other systems, so I can start hooking this into the rest of my smart home setup. For me, that's when this thing really will start to sing. They didn't tell me anything specific on that point, but there's so much potential there. In case you couldn't tell, I really love this thing and can't wait to see where it goes. But what do you think? Do you have any interest in something like Span combined with a battery system like a Tesla Powerwall? Jump in the comments and let me know. If you're interested in getting solar and batteries installed and live in the US, I'd recommend checking out my Energy Sage portal. It's a great free resource to do research and find some great installers in your area. It's an affiliated program that I am a part of. I really do love their service. That's how I found my solar installer. If you like this video, be sure to check out one of the ones I've linked to right here. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you think I've earned it. And as always, a big thank you to all my patrons. Your support is really making these videos possible. But even if you aren't a patron, you're still doing something absolutely awesome just by watching and commenting. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach. And I'm Jesse. You're watching Tesla Time News, episode 256 on Now You Know. We are brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. Support creating independent news every week by heading over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, and there you'll find some awesome perks. Now, one of those perks is at the $8 level, where we have a monthly live stream with us. Our next live stream is happening Saturday, August 14th, so be sure to join us for that. We're brought to you by BigBattery.com. No matter what you need to power, Big Battery can provide you with the latest battery tech at the best price per kilowatt hour guaranteed. Their batteries are easily installed, require zero maintenance, and they're made right here in the US. Pick up yours today at BigBattery.com and use code NOWYOUKNOW for 5% off at checkout. This episode is sponsored by Keeps. Keeps is a subscription service that makes it easier and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness online. Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? I'm living proof of that. The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. With Keeps, a licensed doctor will review your information online and recommend the right hair loss treatment plan for you. Then your treatment is shipped right to your door every 3 months. Keeps offers generic versions of the FDA-approved medications for hair loss, which makes it more affordable. Find out why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and why hundreds of thousands of men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/nowyouknow or click on the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/nowyouknow. A grand jury last week indicted Trevor Milton, the founder and former CEO of the Nikola Corporation. Now, you remember Trevor Milton, the 39-year-old who brought Nikola public through a SPAC last year, and now he's a billionaire. Milton made claims about their vehicles, like the Nikola One hydrogen-powered truck, that turned out to be false, like the fact that the truck was driving at all. Yeah, prosecutors say that the truck was simply filmed rolling downhill, as we covered a couple months ago, or other claims by prosecutors in the indictment, like that the vehicles shown in press events had their doors taped shut and were powered by extension cords. Prosecutors said Milton's scheme targeted individual, non-professional investors, so-called retail investors, by making false and misleading statements directly to the investing public through social media and television, print, and podcast interviews. Trevor Milton appeared in court last week and pleaded not guilty. He was released on a $100 million bond. In a statement, Nikola Corp said that the indictment was against Milton and not the company, and that Milton has not been involved with the company for over a year. But the thing that I don't understand is that he is a major shareholder, the founder, the driving force behind the company, including all of the hiring, and that everything that he's being indicted for was happening while he was at the company, about the company. Why isn't the company being held more responsible for this? I don't know. I mean, he's still a major shareholder. You're right. So, I mean, I assume like he still has some say in what's going on with the company. Right. And your point about him having hired everyone, when you're the founder of a company, that's like the whole ethos of the company is you. And so the whole company is built on a lie. Right. Now, I think that we smelled something fishy going on very early on. I mean, first of all, we were like, hydrogen, why would that be your pick? And then everything that happened with the company just seemed a little bit suspicious. And of course, it was just a whole bunch of outrageous claims. I mean, every single time they did a press event, their things that they would show, their prototypes, were just cobbled together parts of other vehicles. And they continued to make outrageous claims. It wasn't just like one event where he made one claim. It was every single time they said stuff that wasn't true. Like, you know, we've got solar on our buildings, and then there wasn't solar on the buildings. It's mind-boggling. I think Audrey Strauss, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, summed it up quite well. She said, at the bottom, this is a very simple case. Milton told lies to generate popular demand for his stock. Yeah, and he's a charlatan. Yeah, and I think it is something to be a little bit nervous about when we're talking about SPACs. It's very easy to do this kind of thing during a SPAC because you don't have to show any profits or earnings or anything like that beforehand, and because it's not expected. And so you just go into it with like, oh, the promise of whatever the CEO is driving at, whatever he's telling us. Obviously, this is a very extreme case of it, but something to keep in mind. I think that the court held him to a $100 million bond is very telling, because this shows that the court doesn't think he might even stick around for the case. I don't think that he will either. I think that might even be too, like, why give him any bail at all? I know he's worth billions, so. And he's a huge flight risk. Yeah, I know. Hey, would you like to see Trevor Milton behind bars? Hit the like button. All right, so Elon announced that Tesla AI Day is going to be August 19th. That's just around the corner. So what's it going to be about? Well, he made it quite clear here. Convincing the best AI talent to join Tesla is the sole goal. So yeah, this isn't about like getting the stock price to go up or getting analysts to get all excited. He knows that to keep the company going full steam, you need the best minds. And so I think he wants to talk directly to those people out there like, who should I go work for? And he wants to get them applying to Tesla. Now, Holmar's catalog said, I am 90% sure Tesla will pull off robo-taxis. I've done extensive testing and concluded that no fundamental problems remain. It can really be done, I'm positive. Elon said this should be clear to anyone who's experienced the FSD beta evolution. Self-driving requires solving a major part of real-world AI. So it's an insanely hard problem, but Tesla is getting it done. AI Day will be great. And then Holmar's catalog said, will you reveal more details about Dojo at AI Day? Elon said a lot. So I'm really excited. I think that a lot of people, it's going to go over their heads, just like Battery Day did, just like the last Autonomous Day did, where people were just kind of like self-driving cars. What are you talking about? Because yeah, it's not here. We're talking about something very futuristic that they're working on right now. And so you either kind of have to be in the camp where you believe it's going to happen, or you're in the camp of like, what is he talking about? He's a crazy billionaire. Right. Huge advantage here because every single one of these days that Tesla has put on, the stock went down afterward. So this is like a great little opportunity. Now, of course, Zach and I own Tesla stock, so don't listen to what we have to say. But time has shown that usually they do a day, the analysts go, "That wasn't for me. That wasn't dumbed down at all. I'm not a data scientist. I don't know anything." And the stock goes down because they're like, "I don't think I understand what it meant, and maybe they're not ready yet."
If Elon's right that their biggest problem is attracting great talent, most other companies have to put something on LinkedIn, put something on Monster.com, hope that they get some good applicants, or maybe headhunt, steal some people away. Elon's able to put this out and speak directly to people who are like, I think I'm going to apply.
And who are they looking for? They're not looking for, the 60-year-old who has had a long career and is full of experience, because no such person exists. Right. AI is so new that if you're over the age of 37, you probably don't know anything about it, and it's not your fault.
Right.
And so AI Day is a really strong way to get the message out to the young people who are like, I've been working in AI since I was 12. So this story might excite you, Zach. It involves Rivian.
Oh, thank goodness. Are they getting closer to delivering our truck?
What? No. They just trademarked 6 new models.
What?
Yeah, the R3S, the R4S, the R5S, the R3T, the R4T, and the R5T.
So what?
What do you mean, so what? It's exciting. They're going to make new vehicles. This probably means that they're going to be out soon, right?
Trademarking a name doesn't mean much. It's just holding the place for that trademark. The vehicles could easily be years away.
That's what you think. Rivian is in talks with British ministers about opening a 3rd Rivian factory.
Wait, a 3rd factory?
Don't you remember last week when Rivian was looking for their 2nd car plant called Project Terra? Well, now they're looking for their 3rd.
But they haven't even produced their 1st truck. Isn't this going to cost a lot of money?
Well, according to Reuters, the UK plant could cost well over £1 billion, which is like $1.3 billion. And the 2nd US plant is set to cost over $5 billion, also according to Reuters.
Okay, so hang on. That's over $6 billion before they've even sold a single vehicle.
But that's not even counting what they're going to spend on the existing Normal, Illinois plant, nearly $750 million.
Okay, so $7 billion. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to have that much invested in EVs. It just seems like a bold strategy to put all this money into building out before you've started to sell.
But let's see if it pays off. But speaking of factories, let's head on down to Austin to meet up with our buddy Jeff Roberts, who has a great update for us.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, it's Jeff Roberts out here at Giga Texas, and wow, do we have an update for you.
Here's Giga Texas from our last update, and here's Giga Texas now. A ton of progress as we just crossed the 1-year mark a few days ago. The battery cell building has air handling systems in and is prepping to pump out 4680s by the gigawatt hour. The plastics area has begun steel framing and is progressing north rapidly. The paint shop is completely enclosed and most all equipment is in and ready to roll. The casting area roof is now complete and 2 6,000-ton gigapresses have been pumping out castings for months. Behind that is the body in white area, which is nearing completion and has walls and glass going up. The west structure is coming together with precast concrete walls and glass, as well as parking with superchargers going in, and this middle section is general assembly. And here at the far south end, we're seeing crews are about a week or so from finishing these steel sections, which will be where I think your Cybertruck will be born. This is the stamping building, where inside we've got huge presses that appear to be ready to go. The drive unit area's steel structure is progressing south very quickly and should reach the finish line soon. Over to the east, we've got about 150 acres being prepped for the battery cathode plant, and it looks like we'll be going vertical here soon. And finally, welcome SpaceX and Starlink, as preparation has begun on the west side of SH-130 for the Dishy McFlatface manufacturing facility.
All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that Giga Texas update video. If you want more comprehensive coverage of Giga Texas, check out the Quad Squad channels here. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Wow. I don't know what's more impressive, the gigantic factory being built or Jeff's editing and his drone flying. That's amazing. You should go support him on Patreon, subscribe to his channel, because if Gigafactory is built in Austin and there's no one there to get awesome drone footage, does it make a sound? He's got lots of cool sneaky pictures over on his Jeff Roberts Patreon page, so please go support part of this awesome community. And if you're excited about your Cybertruck, you want to head over then to Cybertruck Owners Club. They help sponsor the show. There you're going to find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find out when your Cybertruck is going to arrive. Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. So there's a new book coming out by Wall Street Journal reporter Tim Higgins. It's called Power Play: Tesla, Elon Musk, and the Bet of the Century. Oh, cool. I'll add that to my reading list. Well, hang on. Before you do that, you might want to consider this latest tweet thread. Mark Gurman posted this Daily Mail article that explains that according to Power Play, Elon demanded in 2016 that Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, should make Elon the CEO of Apple. The book claims that Tim Cook called Elon to discuss Apple buying Tesla, but Elon said, "I'm CEO." And then Tim Cook says, "F you," and they hung up. What? But then Mark Gurman said, so Tim Cook said that he never spoke to Elon Musk. Musk said Cook refused to take the meeting, yet the book says that they spoke and had this interaction. Yeah, so then Elon tweeted out, Higgins managed to make his book both false and boring. And then James Clayton said, how false are we talking here? Did any of this happen? Elon said, Cook and I have never spoken or written to each other. There was a point where I requested to meet with Cook to talk about Apple buying Tesla. There were no conditions of acquisition proposed whatsoever. He refused to meet. Tesla was worth about 6% of today's value. So a little dig against Tim Cook there. Then Tesla Southern said, glad you said this. I was going to read it, but not now. Liftoff was awesome, by the way. Yeah, and Elon said, yeah, Liftoff is solid. So we're talking about Liftoff by Eric Berger, which, by the way, you can check out our whole fascinating in-depth interview here where we talked to Eric. We read Liftoff as our Now You Know book club book, and it really is excellent. I can't recommend it enough. But getting back to Power Play, I want to point out the difference between Ashley Vance and Eric Berger's books, which are awesome, versus many, many of these other tell-all books. Ashley and Eric both interviewed Elon himself, and in Eric's case, had Elon's blessing to speak with people in the company. We get an accurate picture of what was happening. Many of these other books have pages and pages of stuff we already know, and then some stories that aren't true or are largely fictional. So what's the point in spending your money and time reading that? And just in case you're like,
you hear that?
did say that.
Looks like
Bogus
they're
thought that
pressing
Elon could be a much better CEO
trucks
for Apple.
already.
And Elon responded,
Everybody
I don't
that
want to be
thinks
the
these trucks
CEO
are not
of
coming
anything.
out.
Yeah, I think he wants to engineer. He wants to hang
How
out
many
with
people?
engineers all day, which
Let's
is what
take
we
a
see in
vote. How
Boca
many
Chica.
people think
He's
the
down there
truck
all
is
the
not
time
coming out?
engineering. If he wanted to be a CEO, he'd be just sitting in some ivory tower somewhere telling his minions what to do. That's not him. Right. And I